Hi guys, welcome back, and once again, Happy New Year and welcome to 2018. If you're wondering why my makeup looks busted the house right now, it's because my girlfriend did my makeup and it's kind of hilarious. So if that video is already up, then that will be linked in the description box down below. If it isn't yet, then watch out for that. I wanted to do this video like a year-end closing out video of my year in 2017. So this is going to be more of a very personal video for me than what I'm used to putting out on YouTube. So I'll be talking about my experience. I have notes here. Living unemployed for 1 year. Wow. So I used to be a food technologist working for the biggest Filipino corporation in the Philippines. That's San Miguel Corporation. My official title was Quality Assurance Specialist, and my job was to check the different supermarkets, retail outlets selling our products. To cut the story short, I quit my job after 4 years. I quit it last December 2016. So my last day was on December 31, 2016. And I quit because I felt extremely unhappy with where I was, and I felt that what I was doing did not mesh well with the person who I was becoming. So I just felt like I needed to do something more meaningful and something that I really wanted to do for the rest of my life, because I feel like I was wasting my time there. At the time that I decided to resign, I was dreading every day going into work, frequently crying over work issues and issues with my former coworkers. And then I was also required to constantly travel, or at the very least be on the move. I felt like overwhelming anxiety and pressure every time I had to travel alone. I felt that even if for a few years, if my career did go somewhere, it wouldn't be where I want to be then anyway. I just decided to halt that career path and just go into something completely different. While I was going nowhere, my partner's career was flourishing, and she also needed my support. So together we decided that, okay, you can quit your job and she will support me as I pursue my dreams, basically. And that's what we have been doing for the past year. And honestly, it's been a lot harder than I ever thought it would be. I feel like most people make videos or articles about how they got to their success at the time that they're already successful, but I've never seen anyone make a video of their journey while they were still on it. So I felt like I needed to document this point in my life so that, if I do become successful, I have this to look back on and appreciate my journey more. And maybe it will also help motivate others who feel the same way as me, and maybe I can get some support from more people who feel the same way. Since last year, I haven't worked a full-time job. These are just like the lessons I learned along the way. When you're trying to reach your dreams, most people want to see you fail, and I really felt that from almost all of the people surrounding me were projecting their issues onto me. It's human nature, because I feel like when you see someone taking a risk that you yourself are afraid to take for yourself, you kind of want that person to fail to validate your decision not to take that risk. And I do that sometimes too, so it's perfectly understandable. That's why I learned not to share small moments of success with even my friends. I only share them with my closest friends and those who I know support me 100%, like my family and my partner. Because if you share them with people who do not support you or who do not share the genuine joy to want to see you succeed, they will not like it. They will just feel like either you're gloating, or I don't know, it just puts out a bad energy. They put out a bad energy and want you to fail. So I quickly learned not to share small moments of success or also moments of failure to anyone who doesn't support me 100%, because they want you to fail. And in connection with that, I also learned to treasure the very, very, very few people who support me or who will support you from the get-go. And those are very few. For me, it was my partner, my sisters, and some very close friends. There were also, surprisingly, some acquaintances or people that I didn't really know that well, or I didn't consider as my friends, who were actually supportive. And After that, I've never looked at them the same way again. I just feel like I needed to value them more, and now that I think of them as my friends, even if they may not think of me as their friend, but the simple things that they did, like or comment or share or go to my event or message me or say anything at all, that made me feel like, wow, I didn't know that they would support me. I felt like they would be one of those people who want me to fail, but then they go ahead and support me. I just feel like that's really something that is precious, and you should treasure in people, even if you thought that you weren't really friends to begin with or anything. Now I know not to ever forget their support. And next, like I said, it's a lot harder than I ever thought it would be. The successful self-made person gets there through sheer determination, because it's just so easy to give up. It's so much easier to just quit and like call it a day, like I'm done pursuing that. But to pursue it, because at the beginning we're really not earning anything at all. Like in the beginning I earned nothing at all, like zero, and it was really hard without the extrinsic motivation of reward or like monetary compensation for your work. Like you could work really hard on something, on putting out content, and it would get virtually no recognition, and then you also don't get paid for it. Even if brands repost it or whatever, like you don't get anything out of it, even exposure, because not a lot of people really like or follow you from what they see in other brands, because it's just so common nowadays. Anyway, without the external motivation of like monetary compensation or even like seeing your numbers grow bigger, it's really hard to keep going. First of all, without money, you will run out of things to post unless you're very, very resourceful, or if you already have a large collection. Of course, without getting new things, you're not really up to date with the trends. And then at the same time, without consistent and constant content, brands don't see you as much, and people won't look forward to your posts unless you really have like something extraordinarily different that makes you put out unique content every single time. So you do need to work odd jobs, work part-time, just to make ends meet, or to have some money to put into your channel or whatever it is that your endeavor is. And what I did was, at first I worked part-time teaching English online to Chinese students. And at first it was like, oh, this is working because I'm earning a bit of money to put in back to my channel. But then once I really got so many students, then it became like the one thing that I had to do every day, more than the channel, more than the content, more than my blog, more than Instagram. And I found myself dedicating more of my time on that rather than creating content, or even more than my partner. So what happened was, I was constantly working. I was either, of course, when I was teaching, and then when I'm not teaching, I'm shooting photos, blogging, filming, and then I have to teach at night, and then after I edit the content for posting, and then while I'm sleeping, I'm uploading, and then when I wake up, I'm exhausted, and then I neglect spending time with my partner, and I was earning very, very little. Not enough to pay for anything in my life actually, but enough for me to put in back to my channel, like to buy what's new in the market. Eventually, my partner and I decided that I should stop the part-time teaching because I wasn't earning enough for it to be worthwhile. My partner and I weren't spending any time together anymore, and the work became toxic, so I quit that to do something else. But doing that, like teaching part-time, where money was very scarce and like every minute counted, I was earning by the minute, it really taught me the value of time and money, like how much time and money I was losing, wasting time on other things. So that was also a good lesson for me to learn. So I quit teaching English online to support myself. What I did instead was work as a freelance makeup artist. So the reason that I didn't immediately go into it was because I was afraid of so many things. Afraid of not being able to do it. I was afraid of talking to people. I was afraid of trying to please other people, and I was afraid of like approaching people in general to look for clients. But because of the support of some of my friends and strangers who wanted me to do their makeup, like I worked up the courage, I mustered the courage to actually take the next step and do it. So I realized that you can accomplish so much more when you just set aside your fears, your fear of rejection, or your fear of not pleasing other people. And I did make a few mistakes in the beginning where I really I was reliving the mistake over and over again in my head in the first few times that I did it, but it went away. Like the nerves and the anxiety with working with other people went away for after doing it enough times, and now I'm a lot more confident in my work and in myself than I was before I started. Because of that, I've also improved tremendously, of course, because now I am confident that I can work on different skin tones, on different people, in different face shapes, and with different tastes of people. And because of that, I'm now able to adequately support my channel and at least put in some money into the content that I need to create. It has also made me a lot happier in my work, of course. And I was talking about fears, and this needs to be said. Don't be afraid of rejection. I have been rejected countless times by countless brands, countless PR people. At first, maybe you feel like it's a personal affront against you that you're rejected, but actually, it's nothing. Rejection is nothing. Rejection is just something you shake off and forget. It's not a huge deal. It's okay to be rejected. It doesn't really matter. What matters is you try, because out of the countless times that I have been rejected, the very, very few times that I wasn't are so worth it. I may have been rejected a lot of times, but I have also experienced being validated. I have worked with a big company CEO by being their very first content creator to work with, and from being rejected by a lot of companies and then you experience being their first try into something, I feel like that was a very big step for me. So although rejection hurts sometimes, the very few times that I wasn't rejected have increased my confidence tenfold, and all the rejection is really worth it for that one time that you are not rejected. So now I have this attitude where I see an opportunity, no matter if I'm rejected, I just take it. I just take whatever I can get, whatever opportunity I can get, and I try. And what's important is I try, because for that one time that I succeed, it's worth all the rejection. And I think this is also a very good lesson to learn, especially in the beauty industry, in YouTube, in Instagram. Never compete with other people and only compete with yourself. So even I myself, I am constantly fighting jealousy pangs and the sense of competing with others. I think we should lose the sense of competition, especially between makeup artists and makeup lovers and makeup enthusiasts, because the amazing thing about makeup is that it's very, very personal. Tastes are varied all across the board, and I do feel genuinely that there is a place for every single one in the makeup industry, because there are an infinite ways to do makeup and there are infinite faces to work with. So your style may not be someone's style, but it is definitely someone else's style, So it's not really something that we should compete for. Being subscribed to one person doesn't mean that that person will not subscribe to another. If you see someone with a lot of followers, it shouldn't make you feel that that person is better than you, because tastes are varied, style is varied, makeup is an art, and it is an art for a reason. So we shouldn't be competing with each other. And I try to tell myself that all the time. It's a really hard feeling to shake off, but I find that as long as I stick to being myself and doing just what I want to do and not really think about what other people are doing, I find that it's just a lot easier. And in the end, I realized that the people who have grown to support me, the very few people who have grown to support me, like me for my own personal sense of style and not because of my skill in copying other people. So the only person that you need to be better than is the person that you were yesterday. And next, while we're on the topic of self, there's also a thin line between self-care and being self-absorbed. Sometimes I find myself falling into the trap of just being about me. Everything is about me. I forget to care about other people and what other people and what other people need from me or need me to do. For a time in the past year, all I did was wake up, work out, do my content for the day, and then I would just order in dinner, and then after dinner I would edit or do post processing, and I found myself neglecting my share of chores in the house, neglecting to pay attention to my partner. Just because somebody supports you 100% doesn't mean that the attention should be on you 100%. And it doesn't mean that everything in your life should be about supporting you. Everything in your life should be about supporting each other. It should be mutual. That was a big lesson for me to learn as well, that if someone wants me to do more, it doesn't mean that they support me less. It just means that I may not be doing my part as much as I should. And on the issue of support, it's also important to have a vision and then stand your ground. In my case, my parents were constantly flip-flopping between supporting me and discouraging me. Like in the beginning, they were saying like, well, what's that gonna do for you? You have a degree, you have a master's degree, and what are you gonna do when you're a makeup artist? What are you gonna do when you're a social media content creator? Like, that's not gonna earn you a lot of money. I found that it really helped to be able to explain to other people what your vision is, what you want to achieve, like exactly what you want to achieve and what you want to be, because then they will realize, oh, okay, maybe this is going somewhere. And I had to write down my goals, and I had to share them with my parents so that they would see, oh, okay, so I see that you are moving forward because you are reaching these milestones. So I would document like every little milestone, so that it's like showing a report card. Like I would show them, see, this is what I'm doing, this is how I'm moving forward. And that makes them realize that, oh, okay, so maybe you're not lost like we think you are, because they thought that I was lost. They thought that I didn't know what I was doing. They thought that I didn't know what I wanted to be. But no, I'm actually very clear on what I want to be and what I want to do. It's important to communicate that with your parents or whoever it is in your life who you feel should be supporting you more, because they just need that from you. They need to see that you know what you're doing and that you're not throwing your life away. Because in my case, I mean, my parents were entitled to do that because they had paid for my education, they had paid for my graduate studies, so they wanted to see that what they paid for would amount to something. And I guess that's just maybe an Asian thing, or maybe it's a universal parent thing, but I do feel that I did owe them an explanation on what I was doing with my life, and that really helped. And next, so what if you fail? Like, of course, there's always a possibility that you will fail, so it's important to have a backup plan. I do have a backup plan. One of the reasons I'm very headstrong about pursuing a career in the beauty industry is because I'm also confident in my backup plan. If ever I fail, the same year that I started pursuing this, I also completed my master's degree and now I have graduated. So if I do end up failing in this unconventional path, then I can still go back to the conventional path and just continue doing what I'm supposed to be doing anyway. And maybe hopefully I can get like a regular job in the cosmetics industry. So that's my backup plan. So it's also important to communicate that you have a backup plan, you have a timeline, so that if you finally realize, or if you end up feeling that maybe this isn't for you, then you do have something to fall back on. It's still important to have some sense of security. And lastly, I learned that whatever I do, people will judge me. So don't be afraid of judgment, and don't be afraid of what other people think, because at the end of the day, people will judge you regardless. So you might as well do what you want to do and do it well. Whatever happens, you will be judged. So do what you think is best for you, and don't think of what other people think. And that was my 2017 journey. So I really hope that one day in the near future, I will look back at this video and think like, oh, so that was where I was in 2017, and now look where I am. Like, I hope I look back on this positively from a place where I'm nearer to my vision. And if that doesn't happen, well, you know my backup plan. I did this video thinking that I'm certainly not alone trudging on, despite not getting views, not getting subscribers, not getting like a huge amount of new followers, or feeling like I'm not making any headway. But I feel that spelling it out for myself just really helps to strengthen me and inspire me to just keep on doing what I'm doing. And I hope that it inspires someone else too, or it helps make someone feel less alone. And I hope that everyone has a better year ahead. Thank you so much for watching, and I will see you next time. Bye!